Planned content performs better. That's a fact. How do you stay present in the moment while creating the content? This is a different type of storytelling, but it loses the feeling. I'm sorry, this content is not original. We already have that. Oh, but why didn't you get a real job? Well, look at this now. At the time where AI becomes so prominent, what is important is to be able to show up as a human.
Welcome to Where She Builds,
the podcast where two globetrotting solopreneurs share the real journey of building a life and business on the move.
I'm Shandy, an online personal trainer helping people feel strong anywhere in the world.
And I'm Anna, creator of Your Travel Friend Anna, a global community and go-to resource for those wanting to live a fulfilling and culturally curious life.
Thanks for being here.
Let's dive into this week's episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Where She Builds podcast. I am Anna, your travel friend Anna, joined always by my partner in podcasting, Shandy, joining us today from, drumroll please,
Guatemala.
Ooh, still in Guatemala, but different location, I think.
Yes. Yeah, different location. So we're in Antigua now.
Ooh, okay, this I have heard about before. The location previously, I had no clue where you were. We had to map it.
Yeah, that was a smaller, it's more of like a few days kind of vibe there in Flores,
Okay.
which is usually what people use as the hub to go to Tikal, which is like a big Mayan, used to be a big, kind of similar to Chichen Itza in Mexico. If you're familiar with that at all. Like
No.
big temples, like a big old Mayan culture there.
Okay, a tourist spot to see.
Very much, yeah. So it's like dates back hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's just a very cool area to walk through, an old Mayan community and the temples, houses, those kinds of things. But yeah, people usually use Flores as kind of like your main hub to get to Tikal. A day or two, you're good, and then you can move on. We worked from there for a few days, but it was very different vibes than what we're seeing here, which is really interesting as well.
Describe that.
Yeah, so in Flores, it was more, so it's an island. And then just outside of the island is Santa Elena, and that's where we stayed. And it was very, very much local. Like there was not a lot of tourist shops at all whatsoever. It was all very local food, very local everything.
At all.
The coffee was very local as well.
Go back to last week's episode to hear Shandy's coffee journey.
Again, I sound like such a princess, but I like a good coffee.
No.
Yeah, but then, so now we're in Antigua, and it is, I would recommend this place to anybody. It is such a cool little town, like very colorful, surrounded by volcanoes, which we're also actually going to go hike an active volcano tomorrow. So
amazing.
Overnight hike, which is the first one that I've ever done. And so it's a 4,000 meter incline to the top. And we leave tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And it is an overnight one. And at base camp where we land, or like where we'll finish, we are in a cabin, like a very basic cabin. It's literally just wood, but you can see the volcano Fuego erupt, and it erupts every 10 to 15 minutes. So we're like, yeah, it is crazy here. It's like one of the top things to do when you're in Antigua. So it's
amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm quite nervous because I've heard it's quite a difficult hike and you have to carry all of your stuff, of course. But yeah, like I'm up for the challenge. The old personal trainer is gonna
challenge accepted. Let's go. We cannot wait to hear about it next week. But let's backtrack a little second. When previous to just pressing record like 5 seconds ago, Shandy held up the same thing I'm holding up. Show the people on YouTube, Shandy. Ladies and gentlemen, the coffee, and her eyes are happy and she's smiling. So I'm thinking it's a good one.
It's a very good one. There are so many little shops and restaurants and stuff to get such good coffee here. So it's every single day we've gotten to new places, and the coffee is so good, and the food. I'm so happy here. I'm like in my element.
Take like anything for granted now.
No,
she's a happy girl. You went 48 hours without coffee?
Yeah. Which sounds, I'm very addicted.
It doesn't though, because I think you are one of billions that are similar, and everyone has their thing, right? Some people can't go 48 hours without a cigarette or marijuana or other devices, but I am proud of you, and I also am relieved because I know Shandy operates better with caffeine.
Very much. Very much so.
I think our character B is probably happy too. I bet Pat is happy you have coffee as well.
I think everybody involved here is very happy, to be honest.
It's such a funny thing, but you were explaining that you felt like it was this like princess moment and this like strong desire, which of course it is. And I think it's right to acknowledge that it is a desire and a want and it's not a need. But you know, it's also just something that you just weren't probably expecting that you couldn't access, thinking that
I think, yeah, like if I were just traveling and I wasn't working, I would be fine without it. I would just be like, oh, it's whatever, and just go on with my day. But because I'm also working, it's just kind of part of my ritual, just having a coffee and then getting into the mindset of, okay, what do I have to get done today? And then getting into that. So I think it was just that part of the puzzle for me was missing. And that was it wasn't actually the coffee itself. It was just part of the routine. And
yes.
as I talk a lot about, I'm very much into routines. So if something kind of changes, then I'm like, oh no. But we adapt and we continue and it's all good.
I agree. Usually when I start my work, it's in the afternoon because I'm matching North American hours still. So I often have like a coffee after lunch or right as I start work. And it's my afternoon coffee. And of course, I associate the taste of coffee with also work and opening up my laptop. So I think this is also something to consider, that it's that attachment. There's definitely, it's not muscle memory. What would it be called?
It's just, I mean, we're habitual people, right? So it's just part of a habit. And it's like brushing your teeth in the morning. It's just automatic. You reach for your toothbrush, you brush it, and then you continue. Whereas the coffee is also like, okay, this is habit stacking, right? Before I start work, I have a coffee and then I can get into it. And it's just, yeah, that little puzzle piece missing, and it changes things up, but it's always good to also pursue when there's things that happen that don't go your way. That's fine.
Amazing. Speaking of that, we just wanted to send a quick apology that last week's episode was a little bit delayed in getting released. We also had some technical issues for the first time ever. Just to keep open this conversation about how we produce this podcast and our project, is we thought we lost a recording because we had an issue recording. And this recording was made months ago. And we are currently 3 different continents and very different time zones between Shandy and I and our guest Slava. So I just want to apologize for that. Thanks for your patience. It was such a good episode. We were able to recover it. Thank you, Riverside, for having some really cool systems and cloud recording that the quality isn't as strong for the video, but the audio completely worked out. So
amazing.
That was a stressful weekend for Anna, I can say.
Yeah.
I opened the recording to edit it and I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I called Shandy. What was that? Friday night? My Friday night? No, Saturday night. Your Saturday morning or Sunday morning? I don't
Saturday,
remember.
I think it was Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. And Shandy and I talk often, but we don't really call. So if we know we have to call each other, there's something going on. So I was like, I need to talk to you. And Shandy's like, okay. And she called me right away because she knew something was off.
Yeah. But honestly, you handled it like a champ. You're like, well, we'll get it figured out. It is, and like we talked about as well, we strive on making sure that this podcast, we try to make it as business forward as possible. So we put out the episodes on Tuesdays as much as we can. And there's only the odd week, let's say in our last season, that something didn't go right and it was like a day or something behind. But then we also have to admit too that these things happen and it's just that we continue. And that's the most important part. And if the episode goes out a few days late, I'm sure some people, I hope, are looking forward to the Tuesday's release date. But then even if it comes out on Thursday or Friday, I'm again hoping that people still listen and totally understand that these things happen. But we are here to stay. It was just a little hiccup. And otherwise, we're perfect. We're good.
We're perfect. I love that. And yeah, I want to share behind the scenes with our audience what's happening, because if you're trying to become an entrepreneur, create your own podcast, your own content creation, that these slip-ups happen and it's okay. And honestly, our audience might not have noticed. We don't know if people listen right when it gets released on Tuesday. I can say there's one podcast I know always gets released on Monday. I would notice, but they've also been running for 7 to 8 years where they've had this following. So for us, it's still about consistency, pushing forward, putting one foot in front of the other. That episode is still going to get released and we are still going to make sure it's the best quality when it is released. So we also don't want to rush releasing the episode, because I could just release the episode unedited, not walk through it and not listen to everything, but I'm still going to release a quality episode. So It happens. It happens. And again, always thankful to have you on my side. So, how has playing tourist gone, Shandy? Because last Chitty Chat, you said you have no downtime for tourists, or because you're playing tourist, there's less downtime. And you just told us you're going to go explore some volcanic trails tomorrow. So, how are the energy levels going?
It's good actually. This week has been a lot of working. Actually, we have a co-working space here, and so we haven't done much touristy things this week. Actually, it's just going out for dinners and stuff like that. We don't have a kitchen here, which I do notice I miss cooking for myself. But apart from that, yeah, we're working quite long days and also trying to keep on track with my clients, making sure that I'm making programs, keeping up with the programs, intakes, meetings, all those kinds of things. So, yeah, and it's just kind of moving things around because we're used to 5-day work weeks, and like last week we had 3 full days, and then we had 2 travel days. So then we had to balance. So we worked Saturday and Sunday. And then this week feels like the longest week ever because we worked Saturday, Sunday, and now it's Thursday. But yeah, tomorrow we're going for a big hike, and yeah, it's just finding that balance. But it is, I have to say, it's kind of nice to just be working and not having to, I say having to, but not
The
feeling
pressure
the need to. Yeah, exactly.
Let me know if you agree with this. I think I have seen with some digital nomad friends, work is the thing that holds them consistent. It's a place of
Yes.
familiarity. I can say for myself, getting to talk to you weekly and certain clients weekly, no matter what location I'm in, I have this attachment to something that is consistent and keeping me happy. The downside I've also seen is that people attach themselves so much to their work that they're forgetting to be present. They're forgetting to take that time for an adventure and activity. And they use their laptop as an escape for boredom, and they're like pushing projects forward, especially in the entrepreneur space, instead of just saying it's okay to put your laptop away and like enjoy the coffee you're sipping sort of idea. So I can totally relate, but also the work creates some kind of consistency and familiarity. So I can only imagine that this week it has been kind of nice to, yes, not only you have to go and find dinner, that's kind of your tourist moment, but just to have this routine and release the guilt of we're not exploring. If you plan ahead to only work, then just work. And
Yeah.
you don't have to do everything. When you're working and traveling, you cannot do everything. It has taken
Yeah.
me, I think, 7 weeks to finally see the palace here. 7
Yeah.
weeks,
Wow. Yeah.
which is
Well, and
insane.
I mean, that's the thing too. Like, again, if you're a nomad and you're doing, let's say, more of a workcation, we'll call it,
Yes.
or you're working while you're traveling versus somebody that's traveling all the time. For example, I know somebody that was in Antigua and they were here for a week and a half and they did so much and were here for 2 weeks, but they were just tourists, right? So they were
Yeah.
able to do, they had the whole day, every single day to do different things, to do different hikes, to go to different places around the area, and they were able to play tourist. And for us, maybe we can fit 2 things in the 2 weeks, and that, like, sometimes you feel like you're missing out a little bit. Like I have quite a big amount of FOMO sometimes, but then I'm like, hey, you know what, we're here and we're able to enjoy the sunshine a little bit, which was essentially our biggest escape from the winter, and that was our whole idea of coming here. So yeah, we get to enjoy some sunshine, and the bonus is that we get to do 1 or 2 fun things that we wouldn't have been able to do in the Netherlands or in Canada. And that's just kind of the way it's gotta be. And yeah, you do feel like you miss out on things because there's so much to do around here, but even as a tourist, you're not gonna be able to see 100% of everything. So you just pick and choose what's important to you, and as long as you feel comfortable with those choices, then it is what it is.
I think also you shouldn't doubt that every time you're walking to potentially this co-working space, finding some groceries for breakfast, going to a dinner, there are small moments that, yes, might not be on that tourist bucket checklist that everyone is recommending you do in Antigua, but who knows that maybe just that interaction you have at the restaurant is a stronger memory than per se going on another hike and such. And just to release the pressure. I think that's the biggest thing I can say in this work and travel life, and to create this realistic, whether you're listening because you've been in the journey for longer or you're really curious about how do we make it work with balancing everything. Like some days is literally just wake up, work, eat, do laundry. It's just quote unquote a normal day of just being an adult and doing your life chores, providing for yourself. And
With
then yes, some days are crazy adventurous and exploring.
Yeah, yeah, but I was just gonna add too, when you're traveling and working at the same time, you also have those added tasks that at home are a lot easier. So for example, like you said, doing laundry. Here, we have to find a laundromat and we have to go there and spend a few hours there and do our own laundry and then come back, and things like that. I'm sure that there's also laundry services, but it's just that added thing that you have to think about. Okay, we have to do this now instead of just being at home, throwing in a load of laundry, going back to work. So it's these small things, that mindset shifts and difference of routines that kind of sometimes can throw you in for a loop too, that you have to really think about those things that you wouldn't normally have to.
Yeah, definitely. I can say this weekend, a fun thing I did was there's a huge flea market here every Sunday. And I'm in Palermo, if you're listening, in Italy. And I bought a coat
Ooh.
and I did some damage. Not that bad. I even bargained, Shandy.
Oh, you
to
haggle.
the scariest gentleman I can say. I say this with, he looked like he could kill me. Like, he was scary. So I had a friend visiting, a Balkan friend, and we knew she had some tough Balkan, she can create that very stoic, neutral face. So she's like, don't worry, I'll handle this. But anyway, he wanted 40 euros. We wanted to do 30. And then we went back and we tried the coat on again. And I was like, no, I think I really do like it. It's good material, da, da, da. We came back a third time, had exact change for 35 euros in my hand. I said 35. He said no. And then he said no. And he was like, and he does this like aggressive, that's how they like to say no, very similar to Turkish people as well. But really the drama in the face so much. Then I started gaslighting him basically. I was like, you're not going to sell it. I'm saying this in English. Don't know if he understands any. He was speaking in Italian to me. I was like, you're not going to sell it for that price. Like, it's just not going to happen. 35 right now. You can have it. Like, I have it right here. So all of a sudden he just like turns, opens his hand, takes my cash. Now, the whole time my heart is racing. My legs are shaky because he's scary. And it is so un-Canadian culture to, when we have a price, we have a price. There's no such thing as bargaining because we are too kind. We think about the person's income and their family and where they came from and how they got it here and all these things. And anyway, got it for 35. But I will have to put it's at the dry cleaners. So I also knew I would have to put some money into it. I have to change one thing on the sleeve as well. So this was something I was considering. But anyway, I thought you'd be proud.
I love that. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. I got to play full tourist in Palermo because a friend came to visit me, which was honestly such a joy to have someone come to visit me traveling that I've met before. And just I saved some activities knowing that this friend was going to come visit as well. So as you described, like working versus tourism, I really made sure on the weekend that I tried to not have any work commitment so that we could do full tourist modes. We went to the market, we went to the palace, we went to the theater. We tried all the foods, gluten-free as well, because she's gluten-free. So we had all the Sicilian food. I don't even know what we did. It just felt like such a good time. We had rain, we had sun, we had wind. There was a huge storm here in Sicily. I am fine. Palermo overall is fine. The boardwalk is like torn up. Like a huge cement boardwalk. Oh yeah, you got to look at the news, Shandy.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so if anyone knew, Catania got hit really hard. Malta got hit really hard by this cyclone, I believe it was. But Palermo, because it's on the northern part, we are Gucci over here.
Whoa, Anna.
Just dumping some news on you.
That's so scary. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was very windy and raining, but it wasn't, I don't think we got what other people were seeing. So yeah, we're fine. So thank you to those who messaged me and did see the news and were curious, but it was more Catania area. The way the cyclone came up the water. Sounds so casual. I don't know that. It was south wind coming from the south. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Some big trees.
I hope you were inside enjoying maybe a nice coffee and then not outside in the wind.
I can say the weekend was like gorgeous and sunny and we had so much fun. It was perfect for this like tourist weekend. And then Monday and Tuesday was crazy. Wednesday, it was back to kind of normal. Today, beautiful. Went running in shorts and a long sleeve. We're back to normal here, people. So maybe I don't need this winter coat, but we'll soon find out.
At some point you will, right?
I think I will. It's a fun investment.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're getting into part 2 of our conversation with Slava in today's episode. So if you haven't listened to part 1, go back and listen to a bit of his personal journey. And today is all about content creation, which I think Shandy will find interesting. She will listen to the episode.
I'm very excited to listen to it again because again, if people haven't listened to the first one, I wasn't able to be part of this conversation. So for me, it's going to be also listening to it for the first time, which is also kind of fun. I feel like the audience now.
Yeah, you are part of the audience. And I think you will you, the audience, and you, Shandy, will find some interesting parts about how he breaks down content creation and captures what he's doing and where he's living and how he works. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with Slava. This episode, we are diving into how Slava makes travel possible while not working in the traditional sense, and how he spent roughly $10,000 US for all of 2024, and what are his tips and hacks as a backpacker and short form content creator to make it all possible. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast, Slava.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. All right, so in part 1, we got to know a bit more about you, and now we want to dive into some tips and hacks and how people can actually make this lifestyle happen if they're curious or they want to extend their trip. We talked a little bit about it in the first episode. We loved this 3-day rough rotation, including a day of rest in your travel. But how would you describe your travel right now in terms of spending, budgeting, choice making? What kind of traveler are you?
Oh, good. It's the $1 million question, right? That's what everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to travel. Everybody thinks that travel is expensive. And this is also what I want to talk about, because we touched on it in the previous episodes when I mentioned that people view travel through the lens of vacation. Okay, so when you go on vacation, it's very expensive because you go on for 2 weeks, you stay in nice hotels, you pay for all the transfers, you pay for nice restaurants because you're on vacation. It's understandable. No one's judging that.
Yeah.
You know, when you go on vacation, you want to rest, you have a budget, you have a bigger budget because this is just your vacation budget. But let me ask you a question. Do people live like that back home?
No, absolutely not. You're not eating 3 meals out. You're not taking taxis multiple times a day. You're not, this kind of service, the paying for services, you're not doing most likely in your day-to-day.
Exactly. So you live your day-to-day life as the locals live, right? Where you live. So I don't have any hacks actually, but I just have a different approach, because whenever I come to a country, and this is also influences the countries that I go to, I try to live like the locals live, because the locals live there. And if it's a country which is considered affordable, that means that they make quite small amounts of money. So they have to survive on a small amount of money. If they can survive on whatever they're making, so there's absolutely no reason why I can do it. And I can probably have even more money to spend because I am coming from my dollar goes further, right?
Yeah.
So I can afford much more than they can. So if they can live a normal life in their country, I can do that as well. So the only thing that you have to do, you have to adjust. You have to adapt, because when you come to a new country, you don't know anything. So there's a learning curve, how to sort of learn the things that the locals do and where they eat and what they do. And also, it will also require some sort of concessions on your side, because you're not going to stay in nice places. And when I say nice, it doesn't mean you have to stay in dumps. You're just not going to stay in expensive hotels, because if you travel long term, like you're vacationing, you'll go broke very fast.
Yeah.
You will be very broke very fast. And no matter how much money you have, unless you're very, very wealthy, then maybe you can afford it. But most people aren't. And the misconception of long-term travel being like vacation travel is understandable to me, because this is how people see travel. And if somebody travels all the time, they must be rich. Which is
deep down, there's so many things behind the scenes happening.
Oh, there's so many things, and the opposite is actually true. The reason why I travel is because I can't afford to live in Australia. To be honest, like to be living in Australia, I would have to at least double my current income, because right now, when I live in relatively cheaper countries, for me, I can afford accommodation, food, and sometimes, occasionally, maybe some sort of entertainment, which is not part of my daily budget almost at all. So what I focus on is accommodation. So I have shelters. So I have somewhere which is relatively cozy. So I stay in hostels, but I usually opt in for relatively nice hostels where I feel comfortable. I don't want to stay somewhere and feel uncomfortable. That's not the point. I will make concessions in terms of maybe privacy, But that's also to a point. I usually like to stay indoors, but I won't like to stay indoors which have, for example, privacy curtains, right? So this is something that I really, really prefer to have, because it gives you a little bit of a privacy, right? So it's better than not.
I agree. Hostels with curtains, this is like once you have it, it's really hard to go backwards too.
Yeah, well, I sometimes when I can't find a hostel like this, I have my Spartan solution. So I carry camping rope. No, I have a camping rope, like a roll of camping rope, and then I just tie it around the bed, and then put all my towels, all my stuff. So I have like a laundry line around, and it's not perfect, but it gives a little bit of a improvement, right? So that's what I usually do. Anyway, but back to the budget thing. So here I can afford to eat and to sleep somewhere. But when I'm in Australia, I can only afford one of those on my budget. So I can either eat or pay rent. I cannot do both. So when I come back to Australia, I have to find creative ways to survive. And that's where I do things like couch surfing or staying with friends, or most recently, my thing that I do is I do pet sitting. I do house sitting. So I don't have to pay for accommodation. I provide a service and I get to eat. Because I can afford to eat then.
I really like the way you described living like the locals, and also this concept of expensive versus cheap, because I'm sure you've been asked the question, is it expensive there? Is it cheap there? And I always say, what's your definition of cheap or expensive? Especially because travelers come from different currencies and different expectations of what cheap or expensive is. But I feel like if we use what the locals' earnings is and what their consideration of expensive or cheap, this might help us to understand. So for the locals, it is expensive. And so for you as a traveler, it still may not be, but in terms of how you're living there, you are living an expensive lifestyle there, or you're living a cheap lifestyle. For me, something just clicked in my brain of the way you just described this. So yeah, if people normally eat out in the location you are, it's very common to eat 3 meals because there's lots of street food, or it's really affordable versus cooking, then go ahead and do that, right? Or if it's common to cook at home, then that's maybe something that you need to be looking at as well. Okay, so in 2025, for all your travel, I think you've been tracking your expenses, but in 2024, you started to get a little bit deeper into tracking things, which makes me so happy because I'm a penny tracker as well. I like to know everything. I've been doing it since 2012, actually, a little nerd side of me. But I think it's very interesting that in 2024, you approximated around 10,000 US is what it took for you to travel this year. And I really appreciate you giving us some kind of rough number so people can understand. But what did it take to do a budget like this?
Look, I mean, I think instead of using cheap and expensive, we could be speaking in terms of buying power. Okay. So when buying power of local people, if you can adjust to that, your buying power is much larger. That's the whole point. Because in a place like Thailand, for example, a place like Bangkok is a perfect example, because some people live here and they spend thousands of dollars a month. you can have this lifestyle. You can go and spend whatever, as much or as little money as you can. This is what some countries allow you to. For example, in a lot of countries in the West, you don't have this flexibility because the lower bar is much, much higher. So if you want to live cheaply, you probably can, but you probably will have to make a lot of adjustments and a lot of tips. I mean, I don't know. It's much harder. While here, because of the buying power of the locals is low, so the locals still have to survive. So you have much more options, like you mentioned, like the street food and the markets, and you can buy things for cheap. You can also buy things for very expensive if you want to. It's all available as well. So you can live any type of lifestyle that you want. But I find that the ability to live more frugally and get more for your buck is more available, is available here. That's I don't know if I actually answer the question that you asked.
No, it makes sense because it depends on the location. The variety of spending is greater. In the US, maybe the variety of how you spend is a little bit I'm using my hands here, but the variety is smaller. It's like you really don't have
Yeah.
the choice. You kind of have to stay in a hostel based on your buying power. Whereas maybe Bangkok, Thailand,
Yeah.
you have the buying power to stay in a hostel, or you can choose a more luxurious hotel. And then you have the buying power
Mm.
as well to like buy food or buy food out or make your own food. And you may have more buying power to invest in activities and touristic like activities and certain adventures versus somewhere else you go. Like we can use Western Europe as well. You know, in Paris, you maybe aren't going to pay for a private tour of the Eiffel Tower, but maybe there's something equivalent. You could do some kind of private tour in Bangkok because it's just the buying power is different.
You could, again, this is not something that I do much because, again, private tours and this kind of things are mostly for vacationers. Again, anyone can do it for sure. But being a frugal traveler, I opt into self-discovery. Yes,
Mm.
of course, I probably will not know much as with the tour guide. I'm hoping that in the future, when I can increase my daily budget to maybe allow this kind of thing as well, or maybe also through what I'm actually hoping for, and I started doing this year a little bit, is through collaborations with through social media with different maybe local creators or tourism boards. This is something that I've started to looking into as well, which they can provide the tour
Yeah.
and you provide sort of the content later. So that's kind of like
Yeah.
an exchange of service.
I think this is great. I think this is a great way to travel as well. And as long as both parties benefit from it, then I'm all for it. So let's get into the content creation a little bit, which I think coincides a lot with how you travel as well. So in part one, we talked about this curiosity of exploration. So when it is a day of exploration, how does your brain kind of work when you exit your accommodations? Do you have a plan in mind? Do you just see where the world takes you? And in terms of content creation too, it's kind of a two-part question. Do you plan anything ahead of time? Because
Mm.
for me, when I go out on the street, I often don't plan anything. I just capture, and then secondary, I kind of put it together. But some people really go out for a day of exploration wanting to capture certain content.
Yes. So I am probably more like you, most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
because I understand like mostly planned content performs better. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Because when you have a script and you have an idea and you plan it and you go and you take your shots and you do everything and eventually, you put everything together, it will perform better.
Mm.
Like statistically, it's out there. It's known. And I tried this before. And the thing that I struggle with when it comes to this is I fail to stay present
Mm.
because I always keep thinking about content. And this
Yeah.
is something that it's actually when I was starting with the content, this is something that I struggle with a lot. And I still, to this day, I also struggle with it, but I kind of let it go because I don't really overthink this too much. I was like, I'm out there exploring, and instead of like just letting my curiosity run, I'm just always trying to look for things for content. I'm always thinking content. Oh, will this thing will be good on content? Will this be, I'm with
Mm-hmm.
the camera, and this occupies my mind, and I don't enjoy it. You see, this is what the questions when I was getting into content creation, and when I talked to other content creators, this was the question that I asked them: like, how do you stay present in the moment, especially travel content creators,
Yeah.
while creating the content? Because if you always with the camera and you always just think about this isn't very enjoyable for
Yeah. You're
me.
always behind the lens.
Yeah, you're always just thinking about that. You're not really there to explore. So in the last year, I have shifted. I don't carry the camera around taking videos of everything, just trying to create content. I
Mm-hmm.
just go out there. I might have like a general idea. Okay, I opened the map and I was like, oh, this is a nice park that I would like to visit. And I just start walking towards it. And
Hmm.
like I have a general direction and I just walk. And I walk around and I look. And if there's something interesting that happens, or I have a feeling or an experience, then I take out my phone and I record it because
Mm.
the experience is at the spot. And this is why I also don't like to make a lot of voiceovers later. So I try this as well. It's like a lot of content creators, they take some photos and they take some footage and then they write the script and they make a nice voiceover, which is, again, works much better in practice. But I don't like this because I feel like this is, yes, maybe this is a different type of storytelling, but it loses the feeling that I had at that moment. So whenever I have this excitement or something, it's like I see this, it's like, okay, this is so cool. I record myself at that moment, and it's not going to be perfect, and I'm going to edit it, and it's going to be choppy, but at least I don't lose the authentic feeling that I had, because most of the content creation that I do today is for me, actually.
Well,
Because in a way, it's a way
yeah.
to record and document my this period of my life, this character that I'm playing at this point, because this character will also fade away and shift into something else eventually, and it would be nice to have memories of this. When I'm old and senile, I'll be able to look at my videos when I traveled in my late 30s and 40s, and had all these random moments that were very important to me. Maybe other people will like them as well. It's great, but it's mostly for me.
I really resonate when you feel an emotion or a personality, of course, authenticity comes through. There is for sure this world of content creation that's very polished and very much kind of for a tourism board, very much the catalog of the destination. But I think what we want to feel is this: what was your experience there? What was the thing that got you excited? The things that make you just light up, the way the food's cooked or this certain destination. And there is just so much material online. When you need to go to a destination, you see the top 10 spots to visit. There's so much material. So let's get to layer 2, where you describe this park. I'm so curious about this park, where it might inspire someone to visit there to have the same feeling, not necessarily visit the same destination. But I have a question for you. Have you gone back to any old content to see what character you were playing then and who you are now?
Really did. I occasionally look, so it's interesting because the platforms sometimes do it for me, especially the one that starts with M and ends with A, which I have burning discontent with.
Okay.
Recently I started getting notifications of like, oh, your video is affected by copyright. And I was like, just videos from 2 years ago. What are you doing? Like, why all of a sudden this came up, right? Like, what is this? Plus, I used the music from your library. What do you want? Right? And then I look at this video, I was like, oh yeah, no, I did that. And how it's like, oh, it's so cute. It's like, yeah, I used to think that video was good, and think it's okay now, but like, and I get to see how were the videos I made a year ago compared to today. And it also makes me think about the future, that a year from now, I'll look at the videos that I think they're good today
Yeah.
with the same feeling. And it's good. It's actually encouraging. It's a positive direction, I feel. Like if you look at the past, at your work from the past, and you're like, okay, it was good, but look where I'm now.
Yeah. I agree. Practice makes perfect. So it's also consistency and yeah.
There's no perfect, but it makes better.
Practice helps
Yeah.
get better.
Yeah.
We should rephrase that. Hey friends, thanks so much for listening to this episode. I wanted to invite you to join the Your Travel Friend community, a chance to connect globally with other humans who are travel curious, living the digital nomad lifestyle, or a local in a place that you want to visit. You can join at yourtravelfriendanna.com/community and join this epic group of over 200 humans. All right, I'll see you there. Now let's get back to the episode. You put your short form content on most of the channels that are out there. So which one is the one that you think performs best for you? Which one do you like the best right now in terms of publishing? And it's like a two-part. Do you think 2026 anything will shift in terms of the channels?
You know, it's really hard. I mean, I don't know where to start, because what I found is that different places shine at different times for some reason. Like I don't know
crazy.
how. Like for some reason, because my content it's very, very dynamic. So some channels, they have a topic and they stick to it. They just keep doing rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and what you're getting when you go to, right? This is the same topic, and this is actually what a lot of the coaches in social media, they say. I mean, choose a topic, choose a niche, keep at it. You'll get better. You'll get your views. You get your because you keep doing the same thing. You're consistent, and it's great. But in terms of my content, because I move around so much, so there's so many variables. So I move from country to country, and a lot of my viewers are localized. So whenever I'm in one country, I talk about their food, about their culture. So they're very, I have a spike in views from this specific country, and then I move to the next one, and they don't care anymore. So all of a sudden, I got nothing. I have to find a new audience again. So it's always like this, like I go up and boom and boom.
Okay.
Like generally the trajectory is up, but it's always like in these cycles. And every time, I mean, I can't really predict which platform is gonna perform well. So in some countries, TikTok has been amazing. In other countries, YouTube, all of a sudden, when I was in the Philippines, YouTube skyrocketed. I gained like 4,000 subscribers from the Philippines.
Wow.
And now, I mean, almost like for months, it's been nothing because it's been very, very slow growth because I stopped posting about it, and they don't really care about China because that's what I post about. But China is doing very well on TikTok. And I also started posting on the Chinese social media because people said, well, I mean, you're posting about China, so might as well post in there. And what I found out that a lot of my stuff was already there because people just reposted it. I was like, oh, look at this. And I was actually encountered the problem where I posted one of my most viral videos there. And the platform said, I'm sorry, this content is not original. We already have that.
Is it called Lemon? This channel's called Lemon or Lemonade?
It's called Red Note.
Red Nose.
Red Note in English, or Xiaohongshu in Chinese, which is basically Little Red Book. It's kind of like a mix between Pinterest and Instagram. So that's the best way to describe. It's really nice. I've been posting there. I'm almost at 1,000 followers now, so I've been growing. It's been okay. I've been consistently posting there because I already have this content, so I just repost
put it on
there.
all of them. Yeah.
But
do you think?
I want to.
No, finish your thought.
I just wanted to say this one little note about the Chinese platform, that they have been very, very good at dealing with the content theft compared to all the other Western platforms. Because when I reported, they have a little, very simple form. It's not like hidden or circumvented like all the other ones. You just fill in the form. You say, this is your content. You can paste the link of the original content on whatever platform it is. It doesn't even matter where it is. Was it on their platform or on TikTok? You do have to provide an ID. So you have to, I send them my ID that I was the person in the video.
Yeah.
But then within 2 hours, all the videos were gone. They removed all the stolen content. And I've basically tracked more than like 15 videos of that one, and they removed all of it, like instantly. That was really crazy. Amazing customer service. You can directly talk to them. So the first customer service, you will talk to the AI bot, which is very, very helpful as well. But then if you are over a certain amount of followers, and if you really insist, there will be a person to talk to you, and they work 24/7. And this is nothing compared to Western. Like, to get support from the M platform is impossible, like crazy impossible.
And
unless you're a
with
paying
you?
customer. Well, it was funny because I was speaking to the chatbot, and it kept writing in Chinese, and they have like a built-in translate option. But once I realized it was AI, I was just saying, "Can you just speak to English to me?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, easy." Like, and then it was just in English because it's AI.
Wow.
It can speak in any language you want. It can speak in Portuguese if you want.
Okay, so that's very
What a
interesting.
time to be alive.
I'm just coming into learning about the other social media apps that exist, and I think there is one called Lemon or Lemonade. Maybe check this one out.
Yeah, there is
Okay.
one, but I've never used it. I think it's the same people that made TikTok, so it's kind of like a alternative or different. I've never used it. I don't think it's actually very popular.
Okay.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. There's
Yeah.
no, I've never used it. So that's not one.
Which one is your favorite platform to I know that you've reduced your consumption, but which
Hmm.
one's your favorite platform as a consumer?
TikTok,
Ah, okay.
100%. 100% TikTok.
Do
I
you find
really, hmm.
well, do you find TikTok there's been conversation that TikTok doesn't have the messaging or the communication options as much as Instagram does. So, do you
I mean,
notice
they
this at
have a
all or no?
messaging. They have a messaging system. You can message people, but I don't use that for messaging. Like if I need to message someone, yeah, I will definitely probably not use TikTok. It's not great, the
Yeah.
messaging system, but that's not why I'm there for. Like I'm not looking. I don't really have all the friends that I have on TikTok. I have them everywhere else. So that's not the point
Mm.
of messaging. I go there to consume content, and I find that it shows me more interesting content. Instagram has been better, I would say, recently. I,
It's up and down. I have to say, even for our podcast, we put short form content out. That's Shandy's job in the podcast back end. And one video will perform so well on Instagram and it gets 50 views on YouTube. And then vice versa. Our YouTube short does so well, it gets 1,000 plus views, and then Instagram it gets nothing. But then suddenly it can like change. And I found that in my personal content too. So a lot of people there's so many rules with the algorithm, how to feed it, but I just think post consistency and just let the algorithm eat it up as it wants to, and this obviously that's shown it's working the consistency on this other app, red little notebook, is it translated to English?
Red Note, yeah.
Red note,
Yeah,
okay.
look, I
Yeah.
mean, again, all these, as much as I've been studying and learning them over the past few years. I mean, they all work similarly, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you gotta find the right audience, and if it does manage to find the right audience, then it will propagate. If it doesn't manage to find it initially, and you don't, I mean, there's a lot of technicalities, but mostly the algorithms are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
smart. Like the software is good. They they work for smaller creators. It's much harder because we initially have a disadvantage of the followers, and this is, you gotta keep on it, one subscriber at a time. It's a long climb. If you put so much effort, that's what I keep saying, like if you put so much energy and effort into something, eventually it will
It will
bear
pay.
fruits if you don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the way to go.
What kind of equipment do you have with you for social media? What are you recording and filming on?
Yeah, so this is another type. Like I don't really, I seem to be always missing the mark in terms of equipment, because
Mm.
I don't like to carry big things around because it's more stuff. So I don't have a camera. I don't want to have a big camera. So I have a phone, which isn't also the best phone because I'm not willing to spend thousands of dollars on expensive Apple products which are the same. I tried to buy those pocket cameras. Like
The
I bought
DJI
yeah,
Osmos?
so
Yeah.
yeah, so the Osmo. I bought the Osmo 2 before the
Okay.
3. The 3 is really good now. Like lots of people have it, but I'm not gonna buy the 3 because I bought the 2. I thought it was cool, but I never ended up using it. So I have it
Okay.
for all these years, and I maybe used it like 3 times because it's not as quick as my phone.
Yes. Yes.
because
Okay.
because because if you have planned content, it's great. It's a great camera. If you have to do it, has a stabilizer, it has decent quality, and you can use it for things. But if I want to do quick, I need it to record right now, I whip my phone, double click on the side button, and it's already rolling. While this
Mm.
thing, I have to take it out of the case, turn it on. Gimbal takes on, it's much longer, very complicated. Don't like it.
Mhm.
That was one. Then I was like, okay, this sucks. I'm gonna try and buy like an action camera. I'm gonna try
Mm.
and do like the vlogging thing. So I bought the Insta360 Go 3. This is the one that I'm using, which
Okay.
was very, very cool because it has a nice feature. The camera is detachable, like a little battery size camera that you can stick it to different things. So it's magnetic on the end. And it's an amazing technology. I love it. And you can
Yeah.
put it here. It's very
Yeah, people
discreet.
stick it on their shirt a lot, right? As kind of like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
point of
It's very
view.
cool. It's very nice, but at the same time, again, it's also not very spontaneous. I mean, sometimes I would use it, But then again, the more sources I have of videos, the more complicated it becomes, because I have to pull it from all different places, and then I still use it sometimes, but not as much as I use my phone. In the end of the day, this is probably the best use I have for this camera since I got it, because
to
it's very
record
good
on
quality.
the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And then
very
you
good
have
quality.
a microphone though. That's something
Yes,
you invested in.
I have the microphone that I bought also recently, because I had another one and lost it, which is very sad.
Got it.
And this one is great because I love this one because it comes in this little case.
Great.
And it's always in my pocket. It's kind of
Nice.
like those earbuds things. So this is a
AirPods,
battery.
yeah.
It keeps charging it, and it's really small. The other microphone I had, it was kind of clunky, and I had to carry it in my backpack. This is just in my pocket. So whenever I need it,
Amazing.
I pop it up, put it in, plug it into my phone, and it's ready to go. Again, my approach is fast, accessible for recording. So this has been good for me.
Yeah.
This little microphone, I love it.
They're the Boya brand. Is that right?
Boya, yeah, it's the Chinese brand. So there's a lot of new Chinese technologies that are becoming more prominent. It's very cheap compared to a lot of the other stuff. Cheap, again, frugal traveler. I always try to find the good balance between price and quality. So I don't want to just buy the really, really cheap stuff. I want to buy the cheapest quality product. That's what I'm looking for. So like the quality is acceptable, but the cheapest one. So,
I think you make a really good point about content creation, and definitely resonating with me that I had like a vlogging camera, but I just found myself pulling out my phone so much. But I think the biggest component we've been talking about is the pre-production. And so if you know you were going to, let's say, okay, today I need to capture this church or this, I'm in Europe right now, so that's why my brain's like this cathedral or this lake or this walkway, then you know that you can pull out this camera and you know when you're filming. But I think the spontaneity part of things allows a phone can fit in your pocket. You're probably on it anyway, looking at maps or, communicating with someone. And so that convenience, I think, is really important. And so someone's thinking about content creation, it's just how much are you planning your material and how much are you just capturing as you go?
Yes. And there's a saying that is very, very known in the industry. And that's what they say to all the people who started this. The best camera is the one you have.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. The one that is most accessible. The phone is always with you. You're using it all the time. And if you're not doing some, cinematic or crazy shots when the quality really matters, yes, like my video quality is medium at best. Right? So like, yes, I could have better camera, better quality, but that's not the point of my content at this point, because I thought about this for a while. I mean, should I invest in a better equipment? And the answer was no, because what I need to invest now, in my opinion, is improving my camera presence and improving other things which have nothing to do with the quality. I need to practice more. I need to make more videos and just become more proficient in editing and in being on those videos and shooting those videos. When I'm great at that, then I can look into upgrading my quality and my equipment, because that will be the next step. But at the moment, this isn't important for me.
What's your editing software?
CapCut.
Nice. Okay. Have you tried Instagram edits? He's a no. Okay, you don't like. I know.
I'll tell you what. I
It's okay. I do think CapCut has a lot more features still. I think it's still above and beyond. I think I'm a major, but I heard you don't like the starting with M ending in A, so I think I got it.
I'll tell you about this thing. It's like a cancer on your devices. This is why I isolated. So like I have two phones, and on one of them I have almost none of the M products, because they just get into so much. And I will, unless I really have to, I'm not going to install more of their products ever. Unless like there's no way. So if I have an alternative, which I'm very happy, I recently started paying for CapCut. So I bought the CapCut Pro. Until like a few months ago, all this time I was using the free version with all the circumventions and trying all these like little hacks to still use the features. But
Yeah.
now, to be honest, it's just so much easier to use the Pro.
The Pro's worth it though. There's so many more features, the auto captions, this kind of
100%.
like cutting silences, these things. It definitely helps in workflow, and then ultimately producing a little bit more, producing a richer.
Just save so much
video.
time that I
Yeah.
used to do all of these things manually. And again, as I was like, I'm not paying for this. I'm gonna, but to be honest, it's totally worth it, and I'm not going back.
Question on YouTube: Are you monetized on YouTube? Because you have over 6,000
Oh, right.
subscribers.
Okay, that's a valid question, because
Yeah.
you know the first step that people think that you got to get to that 1,000, and it's good if you're doing long form, because long
Yes.
form is, if eventually people watch your videos, even if you don't have a lot of views, you have a lot of watch time.
Yeah.
And this is what's important. And in my case, even though I have all these subscribers, because I only post shorts, the shorts are not measured by time, but they're measured by views. And they have
Yeah.
different criteria. So for shorts to monetize, you have to have 10 million views within 90 days, and you have to maintain that. And it's insane. Like I can't monetize because I can't just get the views. But
Yeah.
I mean, thinking on YouTube, I will eventually have to start thinking about long form. I just don't know where to start yet. I don't really know how to approach this yet. Still focusing on the short term. I mean, monetization would be nice, but it's not my priority.
And it's not as rich.
It'll be nice to have.
Yeah, it's not as rich as it used to be. To give context, I am monetized on YouTube, but I have long form content. And if I was reliable on just short form, my gosh, it would take me so much longer. Like they have changed the requirements, I think, in the last about 18 months. So yeah, the 1,000 subscribers, but also on long form, you have to maintain a certain amount of watch views within, I think, the last 365 days it is. So it's kind of this rolling. So yeah, you can lose it, and it's not as lucrative as it used to be. So people are like, "Oh my gosh, you must be making so much." And I'm like, "Guys, I can buy a coffee."
There's a lot of competition. Everybody, 10, 15 years ago, no, not 50, 10 years ago, not even that long. I remember seeing this like clip from some late night show or talk show, American talk show, where they interviewed some Gen Z or young woman, and they ridiculed her because she said that she was a content creator. They laughed at her. She was like, why don't you get a real job? Well, look at this now, right? So now this has become a real job for a lot of people, and everybody wants to do that. So there's a lot more. And the reason why I also started doing this is not because I see this as a very lucrative business, but I believe that, especially at the time where AI becomes so prominent, what is important is to be able to show up as a human. And I wanted to develop this skill for myself, because I was an engineer working in corporation, never on camera, never doing any of the stuff. And I wanted to develop the skill, and it was very hard, and it's still hard, but I'm working on it. I'm not a natural talent, but I'm learning. You can learn everything, right? I mean, the greatest musicians, when they ask them how they became so great, the answer is practice, right? It's not,
100%.
you might have natural talent, but nobody becomes Jimi Hendrix just by having natural talent. You have to practice a lot.
Yeah. And look at you now. You're on a podcast as well. So look where it's brought.
My first podcast. Look at that. And I feel very, very honored to be invited. So thank you.
Yeah. There's always going to be someone better than you, but also if you reflect, you've also increased your skills and become. It's not about comparison to others.
I'm not competing with anybody. That's the thing.
But your
I'm
previous
just doing
character,
my thing.
maybe. Like
No,
your
but my
skills have
previous
grown.
character was just someone else. It was just different. I mean, the core is still there, right? I mean, we still have the core thing that like carry us from childhood, and the person that we become. But this is again the same metaphor of the video game, or for that matter, I also have another metaphor. I said that every morning we wake up, and imagine that our head is a tape recorder or a tape player, right? Do you remember we used to have cassettes in the 80s, maybe in the 90s? Maybe you don't know that, but you're not
I know
in
what
that
they
age.
are.
But
I'm not that young.
okay. Yeah. So every day we wake up and we put this cassette in and we play, and this is the story that we tell ourselves of the character that we we're going to play today. And sometimes this cassette has stories that make the people suffer. They tell a bad story to themselves about who they are, and then they're unhappy with their lives, and they're the victim, or whatever mentality they're stuck in. But the biggest thing to realize that we are the ones who are putting the cassette in, and we are the ones who are in control of our own story and our own narrative. It's not easy to change it. It's not easy to understand it. It takes work, takes guidance from sometimes professionals, and but it's possible. So we can change our narratives, we can change our characters, and we can create the life. I mean, taking into account circumstances, of course. Different people have different circumstances. Just saying that within what we have, a lot of our suffering is mental and self-inflicted.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great place to end this conversation. It's been very interesting to hear your insight into content creation, how you're exploring a place, curiosity, how you're making it happen. So thank you, Slava, for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. If people want to connect with you again, we added them in part 1, but where can people connect with you online?
Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube, or you can also find me on RedNote if you are willing to explore the future of humanity and our future overlords in China. So
wow. So your Instagram,
they are really
Facebook,
doing well.
Yeah,
Facebook. I also have a Facebook page. Yeah, I also have a Facebook page, which is a bit, I don't know. I'm trying to fix it. I have a problem with the M platform over there. But yeah, there's also, and they're all the same handle, EarthNomadSlava. So whatever's your platform, please come say hi. I'll be happy to connect.
Let him know you listened to this episode, and I'm sure there's something you have in common. So thank you so much, Slava, for being here. We're the Where She Builds podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you listen to your podcast. I am Anna, your travel friend Anna, joined mostly by our other co-host Shandy, who can be here today at Coach Shandy. But we will catch you in the next episode. Ciao for now. I love when you do that.